Judges 20:11-13. So all the men of Israel gathered against the city, united as one man. And the tribes of Israel sent men from all the tribe of Benjamin, saying, What evil is this that has taken place among you? Now therefore give up the men, the worthless fellows in Gibeah, that we may put them to and purge evil from Israel. But the Benjamites would not listen to the voice of their brothers, the people of Israel. The Benjamites were confronted with their sin. As we learned in lesson 3, when we confront people with the truth, they likely won't respond well. What I notice here, though, is the response the Benjamites did give. In the same way the Jewish people who had turned the temple into a market in last week's lesson, the Benjamites don't deny or contest the accusations against them. They don't try to prove their point or get offended that they had been called evil that needed to be purged. Instead, they got ready for a fight. This is how Israel went to battle against the tribe of Benjamin. Judges 20:14-17. Then the people of Benjamin came together out of the cities to Gibeah to go out to battle against the people of Israel. And the people of Benjamin mustered out of their cities on that day 26,000 men who drew the sword against the inhabitants of Gibeah, who mustered 700 chosen men. Among all these were 700 men who were left-handed. Every one could sling a stone at a hair and not miss. And the men of Israel, apart from Benjamin, mustered 400,000 men who drew the sword. All these were men of war. To clarify, that is 26,700 men from Benjamin and 400,000 men from Israel. By the looks of these numbers, the battle seems easily in favor of the Israelites. What I love, though, is what happened next. The Israelites knew they were in the right when it came to the standards God commanded, and they had the numbers that seemed like it would make this cleansing of the wicked men easy. However, they didn't depend on what they thought or what they had. They set a beautiful example in verse 18 of what we should all do when it comes to addressing issues within the body of Christ. They prayed to God and asked him what they should do. Judges 20:18. The people of Israel rose and went up to Bethel and inquired of God, Who shall go up first for us to fight against the people of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. The Israelites received clear orders from God for Judah to lead the battle. I noticed something interesting here, but I don't want to spoil it, so let's keep going. Judges 20:19-20. Then the people of Israel rose in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. And the men of Israel went out to fight against Benjamin. And the men of Israel drew up the battle line against them at Gibeah. They rose early in the morning and followed God's plans. They were on a mission to rid the people of God from this infection of sinful men. They were immediately uncompromising and stood firm on truth. However, things took an interesting turn. Judges 20:21. The people of Benjamin came out of Gibeah and destroyed on that day 22,000 men of the Israelites. How do these outnumbered Benjamites defeat 22,000 of the Israelites, especially after God told Judah to go up and fight against them? It's so jarring to read this passage. Why would God allow that to happen? I have had this very question myself. My honeymoon phase with the Lord came to a halt about a year into my faith walk. My husband and I both began to feel like God was calling us to have another baby. After much debate, conversation, and prayer, we decided that we would try for our third child. Surprisingly, we got pregnant rather quickly. It took only 2 months of trying. I was thrilled. My excitement didn't get the chance to last long, though, because I started to notice that things weren't quite right. I was cramping more than I should have been, and I noticed spots of blood as well when I went to the bathroom. I went to the emergency room and was told that I was likely miscarrying. I remember the doctors and nurses being so solemn in their expressions and words, and it confused me. I knew God wanted us to have another baby. He gave life to my womb, so it's got to be something else. I left the emergency room confused. When I got into my car and actually looked at the papers they handed me, it hit me. I was going to lose this baby. It was right then and there in the car that I cried in a way that I didn't know was possible. I sat there screaming at God. Questions poured out of my mouth as tears ran down my face. What are you doing? Why would you tell me to do this and then just take it away? And even, how could you do this to me? Please keep in mind that it was never my heart posture to disrespect God. I was truly broken in that moment. And I have never been one to not speak my mind to God. As we all know, He already knows what we're thinking anyway. If you have ever had a moment like this, first I want to say how sorry I am that you felt that level of pain. Secondly, I want to remind you that yes, our God is holy and should always be treated with respect and admiration. However, He is also our Father, and we can come to Him as broken children, and He will have compassion and pity for us. The honeymoon phase I was in with Jesus was over. I had done what I was sure God wanted me to do, yet I found myself defeated. The question I was asked not too long before this by my pastor rang in my head. Will you still worship God when He doesn't do what you want Him to do? I loved the Lord even then, so I decided I would. I went home and tried to prepare as best as I could for what was to come. The Israelites responded much better than I did. Judges 20:22 through 24. But the people, the men of Israel, took courage and again formed the battle line in the same place where they had formed it on the first day. And the people of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until the evening, and they inquired of the Lord, shall we go again, draw near to fight against our brothers, the people of Benjamin? And the Lord said, go up against them. So the people of Israel came near against the people of Benjamin the second day. The Israelites gathered, took courage, regrouped, and went back to God. This time they didn't ask which tribe should go next. They asked if they should go at all. I know that feeling of shaken faith all too well. They were confident at first, and now they seemed reserved. God answers and tells them to go up against Benjamin again, and they obeyed. Go ahead over.